Everyone, we're going to talk about tests. We're going to talk specifically about tests today, okay? And I want to attribute Frederick's last 3 videos about tests and helping me figure some things out. And his first of the 3 videos kind of frustrated me and made me feel uncomfortable because he was saying, like, you know, you get these tests and you're failing these tests and you're not getting the powers that you're wanting. You know, you're being tested so you get powers. You get the powers you're wanting, right? Or I'm paraphrasing. So that was kind of like frustrating me because I was like, I see these tests. I've been looking at these tests as annoyances and people harassing me and people bothering me and people making my life hell. And I mean, if you really think about that, if you really think about that line of thinking, that's essentially what it is. If you think of it in that respect, you are living in your own personal hell, because you're creating that, right? So that's how I was looking at it, as these were annoyances. These are people bothering me. I can't get away from it. I can't get this out of my programming. I haven't been able to do it. I'm having all this issue and I keep having these problems because I'm not centered and I'm not this and I'm not that. And it's just been like this constant thing. And it's been this overloading of my nervous system this whole time. So I've only been looking at it from one perspective. It's like the person who thinks that they're being targeted. And essentially that's kind of like what it is. It's a thinking along those lines, that I'm being targeted. This is happening to me on purpose. I know this is happening to me on purpose, but now I look like I'm paranoid. You see what I'm saying? Like you start going down those lines. It is a paranoia. It is a paranoia. So anyway, I digress. So that's how I've looked at this stuff this whole time, because human error, okay? So, as one does, I tend to have my best aha moments when I'm doing something else, such as in the shower, washing my hair, or washing dishes, or cleaning, or driving my car. Any of these kind of things where you know what your task is, so you don't have to think about it, you're just doing it. And I would say, like, being in the shower or washing dishes or cleaning the house, these things are much more, you know, feasible ideas or examples, because you're not operating heavy machinery, right? So anyway, I'm in the shower and I just have a whole bunch of ahas, mostly because of something that during work today, there were some things, like, usually in my work day, I assess my work day on the different kinds of conversations that I've had with customers. So I worked in a technical field. I have to have a certain level of knowledge. I troubleshoot with people all the time and I have to teach them all the time. So I've been working very hard at making sure I this is where I've been, like, making sure, okay, I have to make sure I'm centered, because I kept having experiences that were bothering me. So now I've been self-correcting, right? And those experiences were causing dips in my overall performance, my KPIs and my metrics. So that has been something that has been, you know, bugging me. So I've been working very hard to make sure these things don't happen. And that's what got me to where I'm now at. So what do I mean? All right, so there is this concept in cybersecurity called pen testing. So you have, like, a team of cybersecurity professionals, and their job is to secure your network. You have a Fortune 500 company or whatever. You have a small mom and pop company, whatever it is. You're running a business or you're doing this, and you need to have a secure network that is protecting data, protecting your assets, your you know, your business assets, and all of that, your information. This is serious business. And these, you know, big companies, let's just use Google. Google has to have, you know, the top security to make sure they're not being infiltrated at all times. So pen testers, their job is to test the security for flaws. They test the network for flaws. They are ethical hackers, so to speak. they are considered ethical hackers. So it's this concept of hacking. You're looking for the flaws, you're looking for the vulnerabilities. So now you apply that to the tests. The tests are to flush out your vulnerabilities, to flush out the flaws. Okay? So I was thinking about something because I keep having the same kind of things happen with work when I'm talking to customers and with my performance. So, having talked to my team lead every week, we have one-on-ones and trying to figure out how I can make improvements. And we're talking about how, okay, these are your quality scores and you see where you're getting marked down on here. So just gamify it. Just figure out how to prevent them from happening, right? And I've been kind of doing that all along, not necessarily work. I'm just talking about in general, where, okay, this happens. So now I got to be prepared. So what am I going to do? I'm going to learn this. I know this and everything. So now I can pivot and I know that this won't happen again, or I know that if this happens again, I'm prepared. I have a way to mitigate. I have an answer. I have a solution. It won't happen. Like, I'm good. I'm in the wheelhouse. This is why I said, like, I like to do for myself. If I do for myself, I learn. And then I know going, into the next whatever chapter of my life, I have all this knowledge. Same thing with how I said I ended up freeing myself from ever needing help from my family because now I understand better, right? Like, it's, instead of looking at this way, instead of like saying I could blame my brother for X, Y, and Z, it's really me. It's me figuring things out. I'm getting way off, right? So that's what I'm saying. Okay. So it's a matter of the Matrix is presenting tests to test your vulnerabilities. And I've always looked at the process of going through your subconscious mind as virus software. Our subconscious programming is nothing but a slew of mind viruses that have been implanted through, our experience through here on this timeline. They're mind viruses, and your job is, as a source player, is to make sure you're running good antivirus software in the computer and going through one at a time and removing the bad programs, removing all of the viruses that are causing problems on the hard drive. Okay? So these are what these tests are designed to do. But by him being Frederick, saying that you're getting these tests and you're failing them, you're not getting the power you want. And what did he mean by that? Well, that made me think of a video Judy had where she talked about, like, if you keep wishing and asking for patience, what do you think's going to happen? You're going to keep getting those tests. You're going to keep being tested to test your patience, to give you patience. Like, you want patience? Okay, you're going to have that prop up in your life. All these different things that are going to test you to make sure your patience is where it should be. Okay? So think about that. Think about that. Why these tests keep happening. So if you're not looking at it from the right place, you're going to keep failing it. Because your perception, your point of view, right, is not where it should be. And you are still triggered by it. So you're having a bad reaction, all this stuff. So that helped me see something, because there were things I was working out with. Okay, now I know how I'm going to approach something with work tomorrow what I need to do in the morning. I need to do things like so as part of my job, we use macros. If you understand what a macro is, it's a script. It's a pre-written script. So we use macros, and then those are pre-written for us that the company has already put together for us, and those there, we have like a whole database of those. And then we have our own macros that we create. They're called typinators. So you have the company ones, and then you have your own. Those are like in your own voice, your own tone of voice. And so now I know I have to create a typinator tomorrow to help me figure certain things out and what I'm going to say. Because here's what keeps happening with me. I'll have tests. Today I wasn't centered and I'm very tired, and I've been having like really bad sleep this whole week. So I'm tired and I get cranky midday. I start getting like, stop asking me questions. And I was having one of these tests that I tend to have with my job. And I was like, okay, so I had to pivot and take control of it and just did it and whatever like that. Because there was the person in chat just was testing me. Like they were being an annoyance in the respect that instead of just doing what I'm telling you to do, you're going to keep questioning me. Okay, so I had to nip that in the bud. So my point, I digress. My point is, as I was trying to figure all that stuff out, all this stuff came flooding to me, and that helped me see that. So what is the bigger thing here? It is the Matrix is designed to pen test you all the time. It's looking for flaws. It's looking for flaws. It's showing you the flaws. You have to be wise enough to see them, okay? And you are now, you see the flaw, you see the vulnerability, you see how it gets in there. Now you have to write a program in your subconscious, or now you have, now once it's identified, you now know what the defense is. You get that? You now know what the defense is for this thing. And, I can say that for everything that I've learned. This is why I like to learn things for myself, because then I know how to apply something the next time it shows up in my life. Okay? Because as he said, like there's so much that clicked for me this week. So much. How he said about being a programmer. And that's what we are. Okay? We're programmers. And I've been mulling this over more and more so because I'm very much into AI right now and using Gemini, using not even Chat GPT so much anymore. More Gemini because we use it in my job and I have a little bit of a better understanding of it, but also creating like AI videos. I love creating like AI images. I had so much fun with that a few months back, just creating amazing things. Like everything that came out of that was just awe-inspiring because it just was so, like everything was so gorgeous and the way it came out. And now the video is even like that. So I'm like creating these videos just from the things I'm saying, just from being a programmer, from writing a prompt and knowing what are the right words to prompt this AI engine to put the output the results I want. And that in itself says everything. Everything that we need to do, right? Although, our words do create our reality, but also, as you know, to be the powerful creator, it's the imagery. But I'm using this as a way to help you see how you become a better programmer, in essence. So I think I've illustrated everything that I'm trying to say here. Okay, because everything led me to that. You are looking, your top goal is, of course, you know, to complete inner alchemy, to get to the top of your game and open your soul cage and, you know, release yourself and gain all of your energies. But aside from that, that's the ultimate goal. The next thing is once you're in that seat, you become a programmer. That's what he's saying. That is what she has said. This is why, like, back in the early videos, she said, like, you know, if you're trying to do this, if you're trying to, like, mess with somebody, you're trying to mess with an NPC, you don't have the permission to do that. You don't have the clearance to do it because you're not a programmer. This is what it is. So you can consider this like you're learning how to be a computer programmer, in essence. And you have a refurbed computer, and you're learning all this stuff. What are these two goofies? They're play fighting, whatever. You're trying to learn it, and you know, because you have to kind of reverse engineer. It's reverse engineering everything. So I'm going to leave it at that. And I hope this resonates with somebody and helps explain it. So, yeah, going to leave it at that. And if you haven't watched Frederick's videos yet, please go watch them. They are excellent. Okay, bye.